The other topic we have is about Wike. Wike, we had that what happened in River State. How I don't know what is really happening. What do you think is happening in PDP? Why do you think? Okay, why do you think that Wike is still holding sway in PDP? Why do you think that they cannot actually fire Wike? They cannot suspend, not even suspension. Wike at this point, he has done so many, committed so many anti-party. The last time we talked about this, you clearly agreed that he has actually done things that is against the constitution of the party that warrants him legally to be excommunicated or to be expelled. What is it? When we are talking of Wike being expelled, why at this point that we're expecting Wike to be expelled from the party? He's still gaining ground and even gaining momentum. What's your thought on that, Barrister?
Well, you see, the issue now is PDP today is comatose, and the soul of the party, various tendencies are fighting for the soul of the party. Then you go back a little. There was a time PDP was in this situation, and the only person who stood and who funded the party was Wike. So he is coming from that angle. There was a time PDP was in the situation it is today. He alone stood up, he financed the party, he reinvigorated the party, he re-energized the party.
Barrister, sorry to cut you short. I'm sorry about this. The truth is, we all know all this is. Now, let me say this. Why do you think, does that give Wike the yardstick to actually abuse the generosity he actually emitted to the party to become an emperor?
He does not, and I'm not in support of what he's doing. He's clearly 100% anti-party. But the reality on the ground is that he has his own people in all the various controlling organs of the party. So it becomes more and more difficult to flush him out. The latest incident of local government congresses in Rivers, where the party's national executive have come up to side with Wike against a sitting governor, is a clear example. During the presidential election, Wike openly worked against the party's candidate, and supported Tinubu, who was running on the platform of another party. That itself is 100% anti-party. Following that, he has continued that pattern, serving in the government of a different party without the permission or say-so of his own party. When somebody mentioned about facing a discipline committee, he said, who has the strength to call him to a discipline committee? So he has. It is like a very toothache that has come to a point where if you remove it, maybe your whole mouth and the whole face will swell up. That is what Wike has become for PDP. He has entrenched himself that removing him is as almost going to destroy the whole party. Now, let me tell you, today there is a group that is working on the ground to upstage at Atiku Abubakar come to 2027. That's one group. That group consists of Governor of Oyo State, Makinde, consists of the former Speaker of the House of Reps, what is that man that was Speaker, Governor of Sokoto State?
Masari, no Masari.
Tamboa. Those are the two arrowheads of the attempt to unseat Atiku Abubakar, because Atiku Abubakar is still having the mind to contest 2027 election on the platform of the PDP. So this group have come together and they said they need to remove Atiku from the stranglehold of the party. The issue there is that Makinde is insisting that he should be on the ticket, because they are going to remove a Yoruba man. So it is bad if you bring somebody from outside. So let him be on the ticket. Tambua is claiming that as a former governor, two-term governor, as a former Speaker of the House of Reps, he is superior to Makinde, and he should be on the ticket. So within the group, they have not reached a consensus, and that is even trying to tear them apart. There is another section of the party. There are about 3 or 4, all of them having their
Ambition.
own target, their own ambitions to fulfill. Wike himself has his own designs on the party going forward to intrigue within the party, not openly leaving the party, because if it comes to it, he can use the structures, he can use the influence both at federal and within the party to go to the side he wants to go, be it to support Tinubu for a second term or some other things that come. Because if he leaves, even within the APC, he has no confidence that he will get the structure of the APC as strongly as he has in the PDP. So he is forced to fight to retain his structures in the PDP going forward. So these are the things that are happening. It's difficult to discipline Wike now because the party is not speaking with one voice. The party is being torn apart by several tendencies and several groups. So it's not an easy thing to say expel Wike from PDP, discipline him or do that.
It's so sad that this is the time that Labour Party is supposed to. They could have taken advantage of what is happening in PDP to become the second contender in this, or the first contender rather for the presidency. Honestly, I don't know why the Labour Party is just. I'm probably just like you noted. APC government actually they are involved in what is happening in the Labour Party because they already foresee that Labour Party.
It is their interest to destabilize both the PDP and the party.
That's exactly what they. Unfortunately, that is so sad. It's so sad. Honestly, this is the and again, this brings us to the fact that Nigeria, we just can't continue. I'll keep hammering on this. We can't continue with this charade called democracy. It is not working in our favor. Everything that is going on within this democracy is just it just points to dictatorship or whatever, because of course that is what if the APC we agree that the APC is involved in all the other parties' internal squabbles, it means that we are technically kind of devolving into one party states, which is again this is one of the traits of the military era. So why don't we call in a military that will just clean house and do the right thing or whatever? That is just it. It's so sad, honestly. It's so sad. I feel bad, honestly. I feel bad that someone like Wike, who is I consider to be a hooligan, an area boy, considered to be uncultured. I consider to be someone that lacks principles and moral etiquette, actually, to be a leader in Nigeria. Honestly, that man, I consider him to be, anyway, nobody has made him a criminal, but in my own judgment as a layman, based on what he has done so far, I consider him a criminal, even though the court has not done that, said that he is. Because nobody has charged him to court. Because where did he get his money from? I don't believe that he has actually fleeced. In fact, he extremely fleeced Rivers State government. And that is where he got all this wealth from. Of course, that is how he's been funding the party, PDP, sort of. And now he's the minister. And trust me, Tinubu is giving him all the resources he needs to destabilize the PDP more. It's not even, I'm sure you know, you are a very, very smart political analyst. You know that Tinubu is involved, is colluding with, is actually teaming up with Wike to not just destabilize the PDP in his favor for today, but destabilize, but even make Wike stronger in PDP. To be able to use PDP actually in his favor, because I think the plan is, okay, I will give you more power, resources to retain power in PDP. Then, but what happened is on the 2027 election, you will do for me exactly what you did in the past, in the 2023 election, a sort of where you will make probably you will fight for me to come for the second term, and thereafter you can do whatever you want to do.
It's plain for everybody to see. They are doing that in the PDP. They are doing that in Labour Party.
Labour Party.
These are the two parties that have the capacity to threaten the ruling party. And you see the pattern. You see the strategy. How they have retained people in the Labour Party to do them, and they are now retaining people in PDP. Remain there. Continue to build there. Time is coming when you are going.
Yeah.
Make clear to anybody to see.
Yeah, that is so unfortunate, honestly. It's so unfortunate that we are, and with everything I'm seeing now, I'm just seeing, I foresee a 2027 election. That is, if we even continue to be a nation and up to 2027, that it will get to a point where both major parties will be in disarray. That you see people actually forming new alliances and new parties in order to contest, and that will clog the entire system, and that will play out in to the ruling party's advantage. Unfortunately, that is it's so sad. It's so sad. What is what do you think about Datti Baba-Ahmed? He is one of my favorite politicians, actually. What do you think about him politically? Do you see him as someone who can actually be a good leader?
Datti Ahmed, how do I put it? He's ahead of his time, or at the wrong time, particularly in the north. You know, in Nigerian politics, once they cast you in a certain light, your political significance will diminish and decline. He is a very, very straightforward Nigerian.
Yeah.
He is the sort of person that I will follow.
Yeah.
He is the sort of person I will willingly say, okay, take the leadership. But the wrong time he came, and the fact that he does not belong to the feudal establishment of the North.
Yes, correct.
Or not that he does not belong, he does not want to align with the feudal aspiration of the North. So that makes him a lightweight politically in the North. So to that extent, his political significance will continue to go down. But again, the politics of Nigeria is not just about the North. A mistake has always been made repeatedly. The people believe that the North will determine what happens in Nigerian politics. To a certain extent, that is right. It is not 100% correct.
Yeah.
I always make the point that the day the two major southern tribes come together, have a meeting of minds, there will be a political earthquake in Nigeria.
Yeah.
The day the Igbos and the Yorubas sit together and agree on direction of Nigeria, there will be a political earthquake. The juggernaut that you call the North will evaporate.
Yeah.
The reason why they fight so hard to separate those two is precisely that.
Yeah.
The North is not what it used to be. During the war, there was a lot of ignorance. I was born, I was a child. Wars were fought in my place, in my village. We had to run, they had to run with us to Makudi because bullets and the war from Ogoja, from Obudu, that is where the civil war started. Our people saw war firsthand. At that time, everything was propaganda. The truth of the matter is that we, as Steve people, had no quarrel with the Igbos, but they are under the umbrella of the North. Then we willingly went into the war. If that were to happen today, You will not find our people go into that war because we will say we don't have quarrel with. We are not going to fight people we don't have a quarrel with. So the day the southern people come together and determine that together we will follow this direction, there will be a political earthquake in Nigeria.
Yeah, unfortunately, we'll never. Unfortunately, Igbo, I don't know.
Unfortunately,
There are perpetual. I don't know for.
It is difficult for that
Yes.
meeting of minds to come because there's active attempts to keep them apart.
Yes.
Using their own people,
They
using
have
the people from both sides.
Correct. They have animosity towards each other. It seems to be a perpetual thing. So it just is very deep, very deep. And Igbo man and Yoruba man, they don't agree at all. Even that they dominate, they dominate the Yoruba land. Igbos dominate business in Yoruba land is as a result of the Yoruba don't have a choice. A sort of they cannot do that. So that if otherwise. Now back to Datti Baba-Ahmed. Honestly, you and I are perfectly in line on that. Datti Baba-Ahmed was discovered when he was in the House of Rep during the Obasanjo regime. That was when I fell in love with that guy. And since then, he has not disappointed me. He is a very, very straightforward man, very frank person. And just like you noted, he's not part of the establishment, in the northern establishment. And that is why his political career seems to have declined. And that it didn't start today. He declined. That was when you see when he contested for Senate and he lost. In fact, his political career declined. The declination of his the declining of his political career started when he was at the House of Rep. That just when because he was an ardent critic of corruption, and that I think he was the one who sponsored this due process during Obasanjo regime. So that was why when he came to contest to go to the Red Chamber as a senator, he failed because the establishment, the northern political establishment worked against him, and they didn't. So honestly, I see him, and this is one of the reasons why I supported Peter Obi in 2023, because I saw both of them as a perfect team. Two of them could have, had they won, honestly, just like you noted earlier, that they could have laid a very strong foundation for Nigeria. Because what I expected was Peter Obi if Peter Obi had spent 8 years as the president and Datti Baba-Ahmed as the vice president, then takes over from him after 8 years. If two of them have ruled this country for 16 years put together, Nigeria would have been a kind of liberated from this corruption mess. Sort of, because two of them, if you had given them 16 years together, to honestly, Nigeria could have been better. Unfortunately, the people didn't do the needful. They didn't do what they were supposed to do, and here we are, set back. Unfortunately, I still believe in that Ahmed. That is, if politics continues, if something doesn't happen. Honestly, I just hope he comes forward, because it's just about.
And one thing you have to notice. His selection by Peter Obi shows the courage that Peter Obi demonstrated, because everybody knew that he was not a political heavyweight in the north.
Yes.
Yes, correct. To have gone ahead,
correct.
Him was an exercise in courage.
Yes.
As against political expediency.
Correct.
That we displayed everywhere in Nigerian politics.
Yeah,
so
that was
one of the things that endeared me to him.
Correct.
Even against the evidence, he stood by principle, and he stood by integrity, instead of jumping on the political lack of integrity.
Yeah, okay. I think that is one strength Peter Obi has. Again, he has a very strong will. That is one of the good traits of a good leader. The truth is, honestly, like you said earlier, yes, there were pressures for him to pick someone that is politically viable from the north, and he resisted that. And in fact, it's a virtue that he has, very strong-willed, and I love that. And that, like I said, that was why I supported that. That team was a perfect team. Peter Obi went with objectivity, rather than sentiments. and that is, and the truth, the reality, honestly, Peter Obi won that election. I don't know if you are on the same page with me on this. Honestly, Peter Obi won that election. Forget they deliberately gave Atiku the second position so that to avert Peter Obi contesting the election, to avert Peter that protest or that resistance or whatever. The powers that be, INEC did that. They deliberately did that to relegate Peter Obi to the background, sort of. And partly they did it out of envy as well. Because they just felt that if Peter Obi became second, there are two things. It blows up. Obi's popularity will increase, will skyrocket, and secondly, it will have a stronger ground to challenge the election. And that's why, because on that, honestly, I know you are a lawyer, you won't accept that because you just believe in evidence. But the truth, in reality, Peter Obi won that election. There's no doubt about that. Unfortunately, they snatched it away from him. And that was why I became angry at Peter Obi, because he didn't act well. He depended on the court that nobody expected anything good to come from the court. What we would have done is to do something that is humanly possible for you to do. Make the country to be tensed, where the international community will be interested, because the international community, even though they are fleecing Nigeria, they don't want Nigeria to collapse. If Nigeria collapses, their interest collapse. Their resources collapses. So all they want is for Nigeria, they want to continue to sustain this corruption in Nigeria. They want to continue to sustain this bad leadership in Nigeria, for them to be able to keep manipulating Nigeria, keep using our leaders to fleece us. That's exactly what they're doing. So if Peter Obi had acted in the right way, I am telling you, the country, worst case scenario, he could have been arrested and incarcerated and so what. But unfortunately, we have said this over and over before. Honestly, I feel so disappointed that Peter Obi just let us down. Unfortunately, he let us down so sadly. Okay.